she sends. Seeing Sita coming back dressed in this way, looking more beautiful than ever, both Rama and Lakshmana are happy. Next comes the description of the night. It is the night when she is descending to the ashram, a very beautiful picture in the Ramayana. The scenes seen when all the day's work is finished, the sounds heard, the views of the ashram life ending for that day.
This is a very natural and unpretentious description of the ashram, and equivalent to this is the silence of the Matanga ashram that comes later, its solemnity. Valmiki Ramayana, Introduction. Valmiki's name has gained prominence among us only as the author of the Ramayana. There are only one or two facts about that man. Both are mythological or fictional. They are related to a place or region. Prachetas was one of the first sages of Brahmanarana. It is said that he was born a good person in this birth. When he was a young man, he fell into the company of thieves and other bad people and remained a misguided person. A sage came to him and gave him a mantra. He spent many years meditating on it, remaining calm and concentrated. Then a spirit grew on him. After some time, he came into the eyes of people and returned to the activities of the world, and the name, Valmiki, came to Valmiki. Some verses in the beginning of the book tell that the sage was on the banks of the Tamasa river. Once Narada came there. The question he asked him was, who among the men and kings he knew was the best? Konu Asman Sampratam Lok Gunavan Kasha Vryavan, etc. Narada told the sage Valmiki the story of Rama, that Rama was the embodiment of all the noble qualities in men. Then the companion of the birds made him soft and gentle. The crow made him curse the hunter who had killed the male bird in the Gemini and hurt the female bird. The situation became a sad verse. At such a time, Brahma appeared to him. He confirmed that the words that came out of the mouth of the sage in the form of a verse were rhythmic and that it was a verse, and that its true form and characteristics were fixed. He said, "Tell me the life story of Rama in that rhythm, and it will be beautiful." After writing it, Valmiki asked two young disciples to sing it. All the sages who heard it were impressed. Their hearts melted with admiration. The boys who sang it and the author of the work were praised. This is the subject of this first poetic section. In the second stanza of the Ramayana, there is a description of Valmiki's ashram. Rama, while leaving for exile, continues past it. In the Uttarakanda, Valmiki sees to the well-being of Sita. It is said that he helped her during the birth of her twins and educated them in literature and music, along with archery. After that, he sends them to the court of Rama. When he finds out that they are Rama's children, he asks Valmiki to bring Sita. The main part of the story that we have about Valmiki is less than satisfactory. The Ramayana is our first poem. Valmiki is the first poet. It is not that there were no poets or poetry in India before that. Brahma himself is called a poet. He is the creator. There the meaning of the word is close to that of a seer. There are fragments of poetic compositions in the Vedas, the Upanishads, and other places. But it was this work that first welcomed poetry as literature, that gave it a prominent place and was rewarded. It became the model for all the poems that came out in Sanskrit in later times. Now it cannot be said that everything in the book called the Ramayana was first written by Valmiki, or that the events that came to his knowledge in this form, the parts that were composed, or the later events, were available, and that he composed it in this form and made a complete and memorable story. The earliest manuscript we have now is from about the first half of the 11th century. Many more parts must have been added to the Ramayana story for it to have come to that form. Some of these facts have been expanded upon below. Critics have called it a Purana or a historical poem epic. As the Sutralakshana says, the word can be accepted or rejected. In India, we have Ramayana and Mahabharata as historical poems. Both are of different types, levels, and modes of expression. The events of Ramayana are related to the story of a society growing up in a certain way and the conditions related to it. It was already part of the understanding that was remembered by the time of Mahabharata, because the Rama story came there. Thus, it is related to an earlier stage in the history of India. Whether the story of Valmiki's Ramayana existed before that time or not, as is the story of Mahabharata, we do not know. Whether there were any complete lessons of the Ramayana story in Buddhist and Jain traditions by that time, we do not know either. Ramayana is a very popular poem. Many of our people, both scholars and non-scholars, recite it as a daily reading. A fundamental reverence has spread in its favor in the country, perhaps even more than the Vedas and Upanishads. The Ramayana and the Mahabharata have clearly influenced the daily life of the Indians. A purity, that is, a loftiness and a grace are inherent in the story of the Ramayana and its characters. These seem to have a higher value than the standards of life found in the Mahabharata. Feelings like. But both have provided examples and models of conduct for life. Men and women have become attached to the events related to the lives of these individuals. Except for the case of the Bhagavad Gita in the Mahabharata. More serious devotion is aroused in the incidents of the Ramayana than in any other part of it. Like the Ramayana, the Gita has also lived on as a constant source of inspiration for the Hindu race. Rama Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti, these are two different types of devotion. The one about Rama being more devoted, the values associated with Rama are more refined than those associated with Krishna. The memory of the actions and words associated with Rama and other characters of the Ramayana bring many kinds of solace to men and women. They give them new energy again and again. They increase their strength and help them to stand firmly on a footing in life. Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, Bharata, Hanuman, they appear in different ways with special qualities and become ideal figures for men and women. Each one has his own character. Not only do they embody the highest characteristics of the qualities they represent, but these qualities stand at a culmination that takes the breath away and disappoints men and women of earthly nature. They are like pillars standing high, like lamps shining far and wide. Another feature of the Ramayana is that it has inspired poets and other writers through its poetic splendor throughout the ages. Many strange forms of the story of the Ramayana have been used according to the imagination, purpose, understanding, and scrutiny of the respective authors. Some of them are even influential. For some, it seems to give some purely symbolic meaning. Still others consider it only as an incarnation story, or they invest it in their arguments and philosophical propositions. Many propositions are adapted to the opinions of various branches of religious sects. For some, this story has been seen as cultural or as an extension of social science or as an adventure. It is the achievement of a hero from North India who crossed over to the south and beyond the sea. Sita becomes a story of agriculture or a business related to agriculture. Others see it as a symbol related to earth science. To one section of the doctrine it appears merely as a spiritual one, while to another it is a symbol of physical science, where the limbs of the human body are seen as the necessary structure for the production of life and its growth. To some, Lanka is the present-day island of Sinhala, Ceylon. To others, its continental boundary is closer to the southeast of the Vindhya Mountains. Thus, opinions and positions are many, and contradictory. In some sects of devotion there are extreme sects. Just as there are Krishna sects, so too are the Rama sects, clearly a branch, but not so numerous and diverse. All accept the greatness of Rama. He is Sri Rama. Valmiki Ramayana is Srimad Ramayana. No other text has that title. There is a beautiful verse. The poet is a cuckoo. The Valmiki cuckoo is sitting on the branches of a tree and singing Rama, Rama, in sweet and melodious letters. It says, I salute it. In our part of India, this verse related to the Ramayana story is a favorite of all Ramayana lovers. Everyone loves to hear this cuckoo's cuckoo. There is no other poem that people listen to and read with such reverence. For so many people, it is a holy book, but for so many people, reading and reciting it is a virtuous act, a liberating feeling. The original Ramayana story must have existed in some form since long ago. Valmiki is described as a contemporary of Rama. When the story of the incarnation was added to it, its history changed. Another feature has been very cleverly woven into the story. It is not a new feature at all. It is related to its original nature. The belief that that is its main point has been born and grown. There is more concentration in it. Except for a couple of cases, it is the work and speech of one person. Another is more poetic than historical poetry. This poet was more familiar with the life of the forest. That is, he knew all the feelings of nature. He had an inner vision of human nature. He felt that he had more love and respect for the pure beauty and elevation. Being a sage was a special advantage for him. He was someone who stood outside the world and saw everything, disinterested, but was devoted to the best in terms of life and culture. Vyasa, the author of the Mahabharata, was to some extent a participant in the story, therefore, he had blood relations, emotional ties in the events there. There was party camaraderie. Valmiki, on the other hand, was someone who saw everything with camaraderie, someone who could anticipate the events related to the story from a human perspective. He was not unaware of what values were being examined or illuminated. Na enrisa kurut kavyam, a non-sage cannot produce poetry, is a saying that has come into common use in poetry criticism. It is in perfect harmony with Valmiki. The Ramayana reflects what the poet thought was best in the life of his time. Thank you for watching. The end.